John, thanks for coming in today. I appreciate you spending this time with us on the Video Diary programme. You are suffering from an esophageal cancer?
It was, yeah.
I'm sure the viewers would like to know how that came about. You know, how were you diagnosed initially?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I thought, an ear infection, but I also had a touch of indigestion. Now, I don't suffer and never have suffered with indigestion, but I went to see my GP and he gave me some ear drops and he said he couldn't see anything in my ear, and I went home with my ear drops. My wife said, "Did you mention your indigestion?" I said, "No, I never thought about it." So she sent me back. And I just mentioned to the doctor, I've got this indigestion, but I never suffer from indigestion. And he said, "Okay, then we'll get you in for an endoscopy." And I had to go to one of the local small hospitals. And that was in a matter of about 3 days. It was as quick as that. There was no messing about. I was in and that was it. And I saw the doctor, my GP, approximately 7 days after that. And in which case then he said, well, you know, it was cancer. Well, so they thought. I mean, they were waiting for biopsies, and I had biopsies, etc., etc. And the cancer was diagnosed, and I was then sent to see the surgeon, David Bowery, at the Leicester Royal, and he explained everything. I had to have particularly aggressive chemo to start with, because they were wondering whether they could actually operate or not, because it was quite big. I knew something must have been there, because funnily enough, after a while I could actually feel it. And anyway, with the chemo, it certainly shrunk the tumour and they were able to operate. But getting on to the chemo, without a doubt, as it was aggressive, that was absolutely horrendous. I was really ill with it. Vomiting, I couldn't stand up, I didn't know where the devil I was. I was really ill. At the cancer support meeting which we have, we were talking about this, and the actual surgery I had, and not wishing to be flippant or take it lightly, but the surgery was nothing compared to the chemo. I didn't lose my hair though, funnily enough. Lots of us in the chemo suite got shiny pates, but I managed to hang on to mine. I did lose a lot, but I still hung on to it.
Do you remember the type of chemotherapy or the duration?
No, I can't remember what type it was. A bit too technical for me, was that. But
what about the number of sessions and weeks?
I had the first session, I think, was about 3 or 4. I can't remember whether I went once a week. I know it was one session, and I was there virtually all day. And if you go, then you have it. For goodness sake, avoid the sandwiches in the tray. They're horrible. Soup's not bad. But yeah, I had the 4 sessions, and then I managed to get home, and then it sort of hits you when you get home. But I just sort of got in the armchair, watched TV, that's about all I could do.
Is there any tip to know how to get through that difficult period?
Well, unfortunately, I think it's just something that you've got to put up with, because the end result is important and you want the best end result. So unfortunately, we had to put up with the chemo. I actually got at one stage where the district nurse was coming around every few hours to give me a jab of something to stop me vomiting or puking.
I see.
But then after a while that wore off, but I still felt ill with the chemo.
After you stopped the chemotherapy, how long until you felt back to yourself, in a way, after the chemotherapy went out of your system?
Guessing now, it's quite a time, but I would think possibly about a week, 10 days, something like that.
And what was the next step, treatment-wise?
Next step, I was due into the Royal for the op. Oh, crikey, I've forgotten, I had scans too.
Yeah,
I had the scans at the Leicester Royal. Then I had to go up to Glenfield. They got a mobile one there, and I had to have it there. They inject you with radioactive dye, whatever it is. And Then I saw the surgeon. He had a look at it, and we discussed it and took it from there.
What did they tell you about the extent of the disease that was there at the time?
Oh, it was a big one. It was very close to the aorta, and that's why they wondered whether or not they could actually operate.
Yes, that's the major blood vessel, the artery that is taking blood.
Yeah, I've just had an aortic scan actually. Yeah, because unfortunately I've lost 2 people, friends, with ruptured aortic aneurysm. So any men over 60, if you haven't had one, go and get one.
Yes, that's another area, isn't it? The aortic aneurysm.
Yeah, it is. But after the scan, as I say, I saw David Bowery. He explained everything to me very well. And I've got no option, you know. You either have it or you don't. And if you don't, well, there's only one outcome. So I had it.
What did they say? You know, how successful was the procedure?
Well, it seems to be very successful.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm still here, aren't I? But I lost most of my stomach.
Yes.
And quite a bit of my esophagus.
Did it actually involve the stomach, the tumour in your case?
Yes, part of it, yeah.
It did.
The part of the stomach I have left is now here in my chest.
I see.
And when I drink anything, I can hear it going. You know? But the result of that too is I don't eat as much. I still eat everything virtually, no holds barred. But obviously I haven't got the capacity to eat as much.
Yeah.
So I eat smaller meals, but I eat more often.
Was that advisory, or did you come across that?
Oh, it was advised, but to be honest as well, I would have done it anyway, because if you try to eat a normal sized meal, it hurts. And obviously my stomach, what I've got left, has stretched now. So I do eat more than I did initially, but it's still a smaller meal than whatever I used to eat. Good thing really, because I lost quite a bit of weight and I was getting a bit too heavy. So yeah, that did okay.